Let's see, though. Hey, there we go. Cool. Hello, everyone. Gotta change that. New playlist. There we go. Public. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I can tell some of you may be like, this isn't Resident Evil 5. I think right now I'm leaving Resident Evil 5, considering I don't think I can beat the game with the AI. I think if I had an actual human help me, I could beat it, but I think right now I can't. Which is great. So we're moving on. So we're going into Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Fun fact, am familiar with the original Bloodlines. I watched a playthrough forever ago of the original Bloodlines game. Apparently there is Bloodlines 2 coming out at some point. I know the new Vampire the Masquerade Swan song just came out. This game is cheaper. I have heard. We'll do medium. Dialogue options in the middle. Language English. Awesome. Dynamic backgrounds. We'll just turn everything down a bit. Controls. Okay. So this one is more of a visual novel, which I know isn't everyone's taste, but I thought let's try it out. Alright, choose your clan. Bruja, the rabble rebel against power and rage against the authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embodied wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Or Torador, the divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. I think this one. Well, my name is Porcelain. Thank you. Okay. So we got L2 and R2. Okay. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile, just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of my light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She saw a ninth-generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me, the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. Okay. Okay, so that's the dictionary. At the beginning, your introduction to the beginning of the world. Okay, and it's just the log. Cool. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was the message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be the day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well and without attracting attention. And there we go. I'm just checking to make sure audio still works. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with a decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met the one critic who keeps telling you with self-assured authority how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. The ignoble, dubious honor belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapes. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation, get it over with. And as if the universe wants to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. Fuck. Hi, Emma. So let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? Hi, Em. You absolutely despise her as an artist. Oh, sorry. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as bourgeois-friendly collages. So it's perhaps no wonder the NYT has recently dubbed her, quote, a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities, end quote. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. Siblings, am I right? No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this piece, but I doubt it was even a fraction what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fact that after she dies, both her and her work will end up in a landfill. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept she'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes that they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, you're the worst and the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you're grateful. Put the money in your wallet and move outside. When you reach the balcony, you look out at New York City and light the second last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The street lights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Jesus Christ, we're suicidal as well. Working title, Delusion of Grandeur. The author, a brilliant artistic soul crushed by unfeeling reality gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself now. People standing in silent awe, the guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach, feeling like a kid trying to get close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns to you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced. Oh, hello, stranger. So this is one of your pieces. You manage to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration techniques and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. An hour later, I'm going to guess he's a vampire. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment, one of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in New York City, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony. That you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out. Uh-oh. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Hi, Nate. Yes, it is a new game. Thank God, yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. How are you doing, Nate, by the way? His voice breaks silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he's saying. I am so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him. Alone, again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering into bits. Uh-oh, he made us a vampire. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape, stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman. Inch by inch, the pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details. The long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYC hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabbit instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. No sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it? Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment, but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here. Now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony, and the building's exterior is glass almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does. Oh no, that's not hot. Yeah, no. And the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beating again with excitement as the doors open. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He is a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Oh, hello, stranger! Good evening, I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the NYC hoodie and raises an eyebrow. Who are you? I killed her. This isn't what it looks like. This isn't... Oh, that's me, by the way. This isn't what it looks like. Please, you have to help me. That's what I'm here for, after a fashion. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go safe and sound. Then, there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered the speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball, and it inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerve 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir. Now. You feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. I understand, sir. Excellent. All right, have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're all right? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone closest to you? My sister, lie, or run away, run away, run away. Ooh. Huh. My sister. Emma, my sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artiste friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panic talking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody know you are still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So, if you don't want somebody to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs, again, and another physical fight or flight response. You've played right into his hands, putting Em in danger. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now, you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow, he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 a.m. now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back to you to unlock the door. Head out, attack him from the back. I'll wait for the police. Head out! This guy seems scary. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room. Before he locks again, you manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of consciousness, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you didn't feel guilty even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind, desperately searches for a glimmer of hope and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Who was the man? What happened to the man? Who was that man? Do you know who was the man who brought me here? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious that they are not planning to come back for you. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. I want to see him for the last time. For the last time? What do you mean, for the last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is tomorrow's a big night for you. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside, past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Take a seat in the back, please. You get inside. The man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side window seems light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. Where are we going? I feel horrible, man. I feel horrible. As you should. He gives you a little side glance in the rear view mirror and bites his lip. Hi? Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry afterimage of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange. You never felt this way about anybody. It makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. But then the girl's hair, spilled over the purple hoodie, and her blood spilled over the cold floor, come into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there were no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly concrete gray thing, empty but for the car you came in. It looks like there's a room beyond a metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow, I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan at the wall. It has all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. Fucking great. I need medical help. I need medical help. I can't feel myself breathing. I can't sense my heartbeat. I need to go to a hospital, man. You're gonna be fine. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things would get nasty. But I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow. But now I need you to rest, and you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there, filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happens, you turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skill but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Jesus Christ, this is getting too real. Some of your best works was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint, like this painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You are so tired. Your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. Out of the bag? Why am I pulling a cork out of a bag? Take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. Yeah. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Fucking let's drink some blood, baby! It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. Reminds you of a cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had the last time. You swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way, you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually you find that you've emptied it entirely. You look at the info pressed into the side of the bag, 450 milliliters of it. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. Oh, it's a blood bag! That's why there's a cork. I'm dumb. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxicating high you felt when an image of that corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tame talk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Yeah, got any more? Was that really blood? Got any more, dude? I did. Got any more? No, and don't expect sustenance to be this easy to find the next time. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. Rush stranger against hijack the car. That's your only option. You push past the stranger and rush to the driver's door. You open the car and reach for the keys. A strong, firm grasp on your shoulder yanks you back violently. You are thrown to the cold concrete out of the car. The man produces a sharp piece of wood from his pocket and slams into your chest. It is a sharp pain that makes all your muscles tense, paralysis, then a feeling of all-encompassing exhaustion, blacking out. You can see the trunk of the car opening, then the trunk closing with your body inside. The last thing you sense is the engine starting. Then you're wrapped in an all-encompassing nothingness. You drift into oblivion. You feel pain in your chest and hear a wet squelch-like sound. You suck air through your teeth as you wake, hoping this is all a nightmare. Alas, the gasp is just an instinct. You don't actually breathe in, nor out, and your heart is as still as before. You're in a brightly lit room, paintings on the wall, soft music, an art gallery? The stranger is there, holding a stake in his hand. There are more people too, many more, all staring at you. You look down, your clothes are wrapped around your sternum. You touch your chest, you realize there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and the flesh around them. The nightmare keeps growing strong. Get up. You stand up. About 24 faces observe your every move, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. None of them are acknowledged by the people they're attending. The guests are well dressed, mostly, but it's unclear why they've gathered here. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Something about everybody's eyes makes it abundantly clear. They are here for you. I think the fledgling is ready to take your questions, Prince. Prince? You look at who the stranger was addressing. You expect a man, but it is a somewhat plain-looking woman. That woman's plain-looking? Are you kidding me? So it seems, Kadir, good evening, child. Good evening, miss. You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helen Panhard, child of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, but I am capable of introducing myself. She doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You shall address me as Prince, child. I am told you have proven to be quite a burden to our dear Sheriff Kadir this night. And after being relatively cooperative the night before, too. Whatever got inside your head? Hushed voices fill the room. One of the faces catches your eye. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her leaning over to some bespectacled man. She looks at you, briefly, but with interest. The woman who called herself Prince glances around the room expectantly. The whispers cease. We have already heard all we need to hear about your behavior, but there is one thing that only you may know. Your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up last night, who were they? Sire, it doesn't matter. A beautiful man. He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess. He had an accent I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, bought a piece, in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you have ever felt. Maybe even love? No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not, or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. What happens now? Well, that's as much as getting out of me. What now? Now? Now it's time to decide your fate, fledgling. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. Great, we're gonna die. I am eager to do my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, dear. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He relaxes a bit and closes his eyes. The prince leaves the main showroom, and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Ooh, hello, Sophie! Why are all vampires are hot, man. Anyways, Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir, there can only be one verdict given the circumstances. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. I already have, thanks for this whelp's insolence. Do not use one fledgling's beast speaking up in a moment of terror as a justification for heeding the voice of your own share. Hypocrisy suits you ill. So, Will... Okay, no, we have nothing in the dictionary, it seems. Cool. That grabs his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, resolve. Damn you, Langley. His eyes flare up with contempt. 5 minutes, and not a moment longer. He storms out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well, fledgling, you managed to get under Kadir's skin. Not an easy feat. You are in a precarious position and in need of allies. You're lucky that I've decided to attend this meeting tonight. You're willing to help me? Or am I getting that wrong? I'm willing to take a risk for you, yes, but before I get to that, I need you to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yes, I am well aware how ridiculous that sounds. That's why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The beings called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it, and your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design, Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you will be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. You're in hot water right now, but the prince might overlook a single act of defiance. I'm still risking much if I speak out for you, but I'm willing to take you under my wing if you swear fealty to me. Fuck sure, man! I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. What happens if I agree? Suppose I say yes, what happens then? You survive, hopefully, or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide to this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well, and starts walking over to you, glowering. When you hear the verdict asked to be spared, I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a sad smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. Things might have been different if you showed your readiness to follow the lead of your superiors. Alas, your rash behavior damns you to a cruel but not unjust fate. You are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. As our trusted sheriff pointed out, there can be only one course of action. There is no place for compassion when our very existence is under constant threat. Although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this, she takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has a somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare, while their embrace might be a sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that shall be punished. It is unfortunate, but this is how it needs to be. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir, you hear a scraping sound and see that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautiful, detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you notice a hint of sadness at his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Ask for mercy. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elite suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward. All eyes are on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again, an incredulous voice or two. A hush, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in a time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Remain silent. Give me a chance to prove myself. Remain silent! It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant you what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince, thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? Porcelain, Prince, shouldn't I use a nickname? It's my aunt. No, let's just play it safe. Porcelain, Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Porcelain. Alright, the Camarilla, a major sect of vampires devoted primarily to maintaining the Masquerade through influence and manipulation of mortal society. Cool. So there you go. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Fledgling, a newly created vampire still under their sire's protection. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. Prince, a vampire who has claimed a given expanse of domain as their own, generally a city, and supports that claim under all others. The term can refer to a kindred of either sex. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched, you will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Porcelain, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed concierges who have now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours into two tall glasses. It's blood again, that much is clear. You're in two minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. The hunger, the urge to feed. For vampires, the hunger replaces all of their drives with its own powerful call. Also, if this works, I will just read the dictionary stuff as it comes up, so that way we're all in the know. You expect the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a single image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You've never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies. You must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Where do you get the blood? Does the taste matter? I don't think the fucking taste matter. Where do you get it? It's kind of weird that you have waiters serving blood. Where do you get it from? That can be a bit of a touchy topic. Let's just say that the most of the blood available at events like this is crowdfunded. Did I get that right? It's hard to keep track of modern language. At any rate, what I mean is that there's a plethora of vessels on tap. As for where to get blood when you're not at Elysium, tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. Vessel, source of blood for sustenance or pleasure, primarily mortal. What you need to know right now is that no matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more, unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, but even that doesn't last. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood is more satiating than most anything that can be served in a fancy glass, but it can make you more ferocious. As to how you should have it, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and it will tempt the beast as part of our curse. The beast. The innocuate? I don't know. Drives and urges that threaten to turn a vampire into a mindless, ravening monster. Great. What do you mean by hunting? You mentioned a beast of our size. You mentioned a beast? That beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor or... Oh, it's quite real, though not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us, our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. Cain, a mythical figure considered to be the first and most powerful vampire. Some vampires refer to themselves as Cainites, members of the race of Cain. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Now that it makes my not that it makes my struggle any easier, I have to be wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Kindred, the Camarilla term for vampires as a whole or a single vampire. According to rumor, this term came about in the 15th or 16th century after the Anarch Revolt. What's that? We'll probably never know. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship to their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the masquerade. The masquerade, the habit or tradition of hiding the existence of vampires from humanity. Designed to protect vampires from destruction at the hands of mankind, the masquerade was adopted after the medieval Inquisition claimed many kindred unlives. Unlives. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you she is an artistic soul, too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls-Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. The traditions. The 6 traditions form the core framework for governance among the kindred. The first tradition, the masquerade, thou shalt not reveal thy true nature. The second tradition, the domain. Thy domain is thine own concern, all others owe thee respect while in it. The third tradition, the progeny, thou shalt only sire blah blah blah. We've done that one. The fourth tradition, the accounting, those thou create are thine own children, their sires are thine to endure. The fifth tradition, hospitality, honor one another's domain. Without the word of acceptance, thou art nothing. The sixth tradition, destruction. Thou art forbidden to destroy another of thy kindred. The right of destruction belongeth only to thine elder. As you might have gathered from us, assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So, to the vast majority of kine, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons, I'm guessing. A term for mortals largely contemptuous. The phrase kindred and kine refers to the world at large, everything. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel so popular? I think that's Angel from Buffy. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe, allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of 21st century humanity, and dictate most of our interactions with mortals. What's the risk? Is your driver a vampire too? Is there anything the movies get right? There has to be some stuff that the books or movies got right, or it's all just vampire propaganda. There is a kernel of truth in every myth. Those concerning kindred are no exception. There are mortals who sift through and manage to separate the facts, though it doesn't happen thanks to Hollywood. For one, sunlight burns us. That's why we rest during the day. You've felt it. More like being dead than being dormant, isn't it? But we have no choice. We are night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which under the right circumstances can often be the same thing. You're familiar with the sensation, I'm sure. You see her point to the closed wound in your chest, though the tired clothes where the stake entered are more of a reminder of your defiance at this point than any pain or discomfort is. For a second you expect your heart to beat faster, then you remember it's possible. There's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. So this is vampires versus humans, so it's good to keep human friends. Do vampires watch each other? So it's good to keep human friends. Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then, or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience to be broken at a whim. Yes, that's more like it. A sect, a group of vampires arguably united under a common philosophy. The two most widely known sects currently populating the night are the Camarilla and the Anarch movement. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Sire, vampires begetter the kindred who created them. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You are in the city in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? My own apartment? Neat. Is there another parking lot room? My own apartment? Neat. I get my own apartment? That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? This is great, thanks. What, can I choose another? Not bad, could use some redecorating it. This is great. Thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can unlock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly becomes a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Oh, cool. You can save and exit. Dope. Feels strange that Kadir could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. Sheriff. The sheriff ensures that the traditions and the decrees of the prince are obeyed, hunts down violators, and delivers just punishment. In the case of minor violations or known enemies of the Camarilla, the sheriff is usually authorized to act as both judge and jailer executioner. But when it comes to greater offenses, they will deliver the accused to the court to be judged. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch while the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble. President of the United States got himself out of some... I cannot speak. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that makes you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You'll leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, 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 sinking. Oh, cool. Oh, rest. Tutorial. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker blood frame around the screen, like the one you see now. As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices may only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Okay. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Wherever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Good to know. Alright, we are gonna save and exit right here, because this seems like a good point to save and exit. Okay, cool, so we're on night 2. So that is gonna be it for today. A little bit of a different turn with doing a visual novel. I haven't done visual novel stuff in a while. I think the last one I did was Doki Doki Literature Club. And I am very excited about doing this. I love vampires and vampire folklore. If you did not know, I'm currently reading The Blood of the Vampire by, I think, Florence Marriott is how you pronounce their name. And it's like, it was a vampire novel that was published in the same year as Dracula, actually. But anyways, that is going to be it for today. To all of you fathers out there, happy Father's Day, and to Black people in the United States. It is Juneteenth, which is, I believe, the day that slaves got, like, all freedom, if I remember correctly. Or that slavery ended. It was one of the two. I need to educate myself more on that. But anyways, acknowledgement. So, If you want to see more of Vampire the Masquerade, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you like the video. If you want to, go and donate to Extra Life. We are still running Extra Life. All that money goes to help the children's hospitals all around the world. Ours specifically is going to help the Calgary Children's Hospital, or the Alberta's Children's Hospital as it's called. So if you want to donate, you can scroll to the top of live chat. Nightbot's got you there, or you can go to the channel page and the links will have it. So thank y'all very much for watching. Love you as always, and I'll see you in the next one.